In our previous microeconomics classes, we learned every economy faces some economic problems which arise due to the scarcity of resources and the alternative uses of resources. Right. So now in this video number 3, we are going to learn with the given resources what are the possible combination of goods that can be produced. If resources did not have alternative uses, the resources that are available could be used to produce only one type of goods. But since they have alternative uses, with one given resources, a combination of goods can be produced. Let us say good X and good Y. If all the given resources are employed in producing only one good, that is X, then let us say that 5 units of the goods can be produced with the given resources. Then you cannot produce any of good Y. That means 0 units of good Y. On the other hand, if we use the resources to produce only good Y, that means 5 units of good Y, let us say, then we will not be able to produce any of good X. What does this tell us? This tells us that we can either produce good X using all the resources, or we can produce only good Y using all the resources. Now what we are talking about is the production possibility. That means, is it possible to produce both good X and good Y with the given resources? Yes, we are talking about only the possibility. So we'll now look into some possibilities of production of units of goods, let us say 2 types of goods with the given resources. So why is it called production possibility curve? Is a combination of these goods. If you plot them on a graph, we will find that we get a curve, otherwise called PPC. Alright. So to learn this production possibility, we have certain assumptions to be made. What are these assumptions? Assuming that the resources are fixed. That means what resources we are given to produce the goods are fixed. Whether you produce good X or good Y, or a possibility, or that's a combination of goods, but resources that are given to us are fixed. Then the technology that we use to produce these goods is also constant. Constant here we mean that it remains unchanged. You cannot bring about a change in the technology in order to improve your units of goods or increase the amount of goods output. And the third assumption is that the resources that are given to us are fully utilized and efficiently employed. So that means that there is no wastage of the resources. Now the fourth assumption is that the resources can be transferred from production of one good to another. That means, see, we have resources, we are using a part of the resources to produce good X and a part of the resources to produce good Y. Now if I want to increase good X, I will have to reduce good X. If I want to increase good X, then I have to reduce the output of good Y. That is what is meant by transferring of resources. That means I can transfer the resources that I would use to produce X now to produce Y. And I can use the resources that are given to me to produce Y and divert it to make some units of good X. That is what is meant by this point. Okay. Now that we understand that we can transfer the raw materials or resources from production of one good to another, let us look at the possibility of producing a combination of 2 goods. Now in this particular example, we are dealing with wheat and pulses. So these are the 2 goods, right? Now let us look at the production possibility schedule. What is a production possibility schedule? Schedule means a table that shows us what combinations we are going to use or what combinations are possible using the given resources in producing these two goods. Now let us look at combination A. Combination A says, or production possibility of a combination A says that all the resources here are utilized in producing pulses, 15 units of pulses. So if all the resources are used in producing pulses, there is no wheat produced. On the other hand, if all the resources are used in producing wheat, then we are not producing any units of pulses. This is combination F. All other combinations lie between these 2 points. That is, either you produce pulses or you produce wheat. Let's look at the combinations now. If I want to produce 1 unit of good wheat, then I have to reduce this pulses by 1 unit. So 15 minus 14 is 1. So that 1 unit which I am foregoing, I will use to produce wheat. Right? Now here in the second combination, C, where I want to produce 2 units of good wheat, I have to forego 2 units of pulses. That means 14 minus 12 is 2. So 2 units of wheat can be produced. Now if I forego 3 units of pulses, 12 minus 9 is 3, I can produce 3 units of wheat. Similarly, 9 minus 5 is 4, so you can produce 4 units of wheat. 5 minus 0 is 5, and so here 5 units of wheat can be produced. So what is the amount that we are foregoing to produce the other good is very important. So combination B shows us that I can produce 1 unit of wheat and 14 units of pulses. C shows I can produce 2 units of wheat and 12 units of pulses. D point shows, combination shows 3 units of wheat and 9 units of pulses. And a combination E tells me that you can produce 4 units of wheat and 5 units of pulses. Let us now represent this in the form of a graph that will be called as the production possibility curve. Now here we have on the x-axis good x and on the y-axis good y. On the x-axis we have taken the scale 1 centimeter equal to 1 lakh quintal, and on the y-axis we have taken 1 centimeter equal to 3 lakh quintals for pulses. So here good x is wheat and good y is pulses. Okay, let's look at these combinations and plot the graph. So when we are producing 0 of wheat, pulses are 15. So the combination is 0, 15. So here is combination A. Now B is 1 on the x-axis and 14 on the y-axis. So 1 on the x-axis, 14 would be somewhere just less than 15 over here. So let us say this is our combination B. Now 2 and 12. So 2 on the x-axis, 12 on the y-axis. So somewhere here, this will be our C. D is 3 and 9. So 3 and 9 combination lies somewhere here. So we'll call it D. E is 4 and 5. So 4 on the x-axis and 5 will be somewhere below 6. So here we will have E. And F is 5, 0. So 5 on the x-axis and 0 on the y-axis. So this is point F. Now if we carefully join these points, we get a curve. This curve is called the production possibility curve. Production possibility curve. What we need to observe over here is, see, the first point is here, isn't it? So this curve is, and the last point is here. So this curve is actually downward sloping. It is downward sloping, and to the origin, this is origin, no? O is origin. So to the origin, this curve is concave in shape. This is concave in shape. So these 2 points we'll keep in our mind. When we learn the properties, then we will come across these again. So for now, this is our observation. The observation is that PPC slopes downwards and it is concave to the origin. That means this shape. Okay, this is the shape of the PPC. Now this PPC will help us understand the central problems. Okay, what were the central problems? What to produce and what quantity to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Those were the 3 questions that we learned as economic problems. Let's now look into the PPC and what it has got to do with the central problem. The first central problem is what to produce or what quantity to produce. Now just now we saw PPC when you draw, when good X is plotted on the x-axis and good Y on the y-axis, it is a downward sloping curve with different combinations. Okay. Now, what does this show? This shows, see, keeping the assumptions in mind. What were the assumptions? That the resources are given to us, which are limited, and they are fully utilized, and the technology that is used is constant. And one more very important thing is that you can transfer the resources to produce the other good in the combination, right? So now let's see what to produce. This is one central problem. Now if, see, this is good X. So if we plan to produce a combination OE of good X, then OE is corresponding to C over here. So you can produce OC of good Y. When you produce OE of good X, we can produce OC of good Y. OE corresponding to OC. Okay. Now on the other hand, if we try to achieve a combination of 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 good X, then we can produce only OD of good Y. See, OF of good X, then we can produce only OD of good Y. Let us give them some numbers that it will be easy to understand. So we'll go from here, no, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let us say this is equal to 4 and this is equal to 5. And here also let us say this is equal to 6 and this is equal to 7. Because it comes from here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 and 7. So what is OE? OE is 6 units and OC is 5 units. And OF is 7 units and OD is 4 units. What do we observe here? We observe that when OE is 6, OC is 5, but when I increase this X to 7, this Y reduces to 4. Or otherwise, if I increase from 4 to 5 here, then X reduces from 7 to 6. It means what? That if I want to produce more of X, I'll have to reduce Y. And if I want to produce more of Y, then I have to reduce X. So that is what is happening over here. So to produce this combination, if I increase this, then this will reduce. Or if I decrease this, then this will increase. You can see the corresponding points. Okay. So what to produce? That means when you shift these resources from one to the other, there will be an increase or decrease in the quantity produced of the other good. Now all these points G, H and others which lie on the PPC tell us that these are attainable combinations. These are attainable combinations. These are attainable combinations. Now if I have a point inside this, it shows a combination which is well within the PPC, but the resources should be fully utilized, so we should be here, but we are here. This shows that the resources are not fully utilized. Now if I have a point over here which is beyond the PPC, this combination is here. Is it possible? to have this combination? No, because if you start an F here, it ends here. So if you produce these many of F, these many of X, then you have to produce only these many of Y. So this is unattainable combination. This is unattainable because resources when fully utilized remain on this PPC. So this is beyond PPC. So any point beyond PPC is an unattainable combination. So what quantity should be produced? The quantity should be the combination which lies on the PPC. Okay. Then how to produce? This is our normal PPC. Let us say we are using labor intensive technique. There are two techniques now, capital intensive and labor intensive. If you use labor intensive, then we will be here. That means production possibility curve will move inside or to the left. This is labor intensive technique. Now if you use capital intensive technique, that means if you use machines, then this PPC will move to the right. So this shows growth, isn't it? Because more units of the goods are produced. Okay, so this is capital intensive technique. Now for whom to produce? If goods are produced for the welfare of the poor people, poor sections of the society, then the PPC will move inside. And if the goods are produced for the higher income groups, that is luxury goods, then the PPC will move outside. So that is the information we get from the production possibility curve.